All right, beautiful people. Welcome back to another amazing and impactful episode of the True Health Forever podcast, where we try to live our best life through the lens of holistic health. I'm your host, Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game, and per usual, I have with me the beautiful, the resilient, the warrior, the almost MBA graduated queen herself. Talk to the folks.
What's up, party people? My name is Sinclair, aka
The
Health Nerd. And yes, we are live and direct on a Saturday afternoon. It's a pretty nice day.
It is.
There's been a lot of temperature changes. I know you went on a hike, so you probably experienced them more than I did.
It was straight cold where I was.
Okay. It was 48 degrees earlier, and then like 2 hours went by. I did leave the house to go to the grocery store, but and I was freezing. And then like 2 hours later, I had to turn the air conditioning on. I was like, what is this? Thank you, California.
That's where it's at. But I do want to give a disclaimer. The queen is battling right now, y'all. So, you know, I'm going to put in a little extra energy that I usually do, even though I feel like I'm usually pretty energetic. So maybe not extra energy. But the queen has been very resilient, fighting through some things this week. So I appreciate you for even, being on and rocking with us this afternoon. I see you still holding it down.
Not 100% right now, but we don't pretend like we are.
Yes, ma'am. Fake it till you make it, what they say. All right.
The mind will make it happen.
Updates for the week. I mean, I know how you're doing. I don't know how much you want to,
It's been a little bit of a rough week for myself, to be quite honest. I'm not going to get into all the details, but definitely had been having some digestive issues. So I'll leave it there.
Okay.
And then I had a little bit of a work event that happened on Friday that I was kind of like preparing for all week. So I feel like that was a little bit of stress as well. So between those two things, it's not been my best week, but here nonetheless.
Yes, you are. Can't stop, won't stop.
Nope.
Appreciate you.
What about you?
I really, it's always that awkward moment when you
ask
someone,
everything's great.
Yeah.
Best week of my life.
Truthfully, like when you talk to someone, they're like, oh man, I'm down. I'm really going through it. How are you doing? It's like, I'm doing pretty good, bro. So that's how I feel, Queen. Sorry, I'm here for you. We gotta rock together.
I lived through you as well. So the fact that you have a great week.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell them about your great week.
All right. Well, we had a workshop with a high school out here in Riverside. So shout out to Martin Luther King High School who did a virtual workshop.
For that reason, for those reasons.
Yeah, they showed us
background. I went to the rival high school, so that's why I'm like
Riverside stuff, y'all know. But yeah, it was a good workshop. You were able to come and support that workshop. We had Dom come in and do that workshop as well. It was one of the smoothest workshops that I think we've done because there were so many people involved in it. So I think it's cool to see what Play Black Wall Street and the workshops can grow into.
Right.
And then we had a nice conversation about how we can be a little bit more strategic about doing more workshops in 2021. So yeah, that just felt good. I also had a work event on Friday that went pretty seamless as well. And to be honest, there wasn't a lot of planning that went into that work event, so I was a little bit nervous, but that went smooth.
That's the best.
Ain't it though? Ain't it though? So yeah, it was a good week overall. It was a win, which leads us perfectly into this episode. Today we are going to be talking about how you all can take yourselves to the next level and really prosper inside and outside. So we talk about holistic health almost every week, every single episode. But today we have a certified nutritionist and someone who's been in the game for some years, who's really passionate about, again, taking people to that next level and really unlocking your full potential and being able to live your best life simply by changing what you consume and what you put into your body, which obviously will change the output into the universe as well. So yeah, I'm very excited to have this. I think this, I know you're very excited. I feel like this is going to be another person that we may need to, go ahead and bring back a few times. But all right, we're going to go ahead. Let's get into the episode. All right, so we have Whitney on here from Eat Plants and Prosper. The crowd goes wild. Welcome, welcome. How are you doing? How you feeling?
Hey, I'm good. I'm so grateful to be here. I love y'all, so I'm so excited.
Thank you.
Thank you. So my bad. You got a question?
I mean, you kick it off. Kick it
You
off.
know I was gonna hop right up into it.
Go for it.
You know I was gonna hop. Okay. Can you talk to us about the journey to only eating plants? And I know we got a lot to talk about, but I feel like that I want to start there because I feel like we're on the edge of making that decision, but there's just like edge is a strong word. There's a few feet between us and that edge, to be honest with you.
We're just like, huh,
like that looks cool, but yeah. So can you talk about your own journey and kind of how you yourself or your family made that leap?
Yes. So you guys are y'all close enough though. I've been listening, and y'all are following right along the path that leads you there. But I just was sick like all the time, like my entire life. I was sick. Just colds, flus, like stomach bug. Like if it was in like 100-mile radius, like I definitely was gonna get it. I started getting migraines when I was 7. Like I had no idea like what it was. And then we finally figured out that that's what it was. But I just lived with those things like my entire life. The old folks would say I was sickly. I was just sick all the time. And so that just became my norm. And then a couple of years ago, back in 2018, I got the flu and then got a sinus infection right after it. And so I was down for like 5 weeks straight. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, this ain't it. This ain't it. Can't do this anymore. I wanted to enjoy my life, and I had kids, and I wanted to make sure I was a part of their lives and up and active. And so while I was laying in the bed sick, I started doing some serious research. And by serious research, I mean, I picked up my phone and went to Google. And was like, yo, like, how do you get well, holistically in a natural way? Because I had been going to doctors. I was always at the doctor's office. I was always on antibiotics. Like when I went to the urgent care, they greeted me like Norm from Cheers. They're like, hey. So I was like, this is not what you really want to be known for. But I knew that I needed to do it in a natural way because the medicine that wasn't really working. And so I was just shocked to find out that like 70% of your immune system is in your gut. And so like whatever you're eating is literally making you well or it's making you sick. And so I started, really doing a lot of research and understanding that, plant-based diet was really the way to naturally boost your immune system. And so I was like, what's that? Like, I didn't even know what that was. And so when I found out, basically just eating, fruits and vegetables, nuts, seeds, beans, whole grains. And I was like, yeah, no, like I don't think that that's going to be my vibe because I grew up in the Midwest. I ate meat and potatoes every day. Like I loved ice cream and pizza. So I was like, I don't know if I could do this. But then I remember that I had done the Daniel fast with my church every year. Like, so it was 21-day fast where you just basically are eating super healthy, super clean. And I felt so good. But then like, afterwards, I would be like in the McDonald's line for French fries, like midnight, like when the fast was ending, I would go back to being sick. Right. So I decided to try 21 days of, just doing plant-based eating just so to get the habit formed. And then once I did that, I went on to do a 90 days because they, says it takes 90 days to build that lifestyle change. And I was like, let me just see like if I'm really going to not get sick. Y'all, I didn't get sick. I had no migraines, no visits to the doctor, wasn't no antibiotics, none of that. And I was like, okay, so you can't really deny that this is like what has healed you. And so I just continued down that path because it was like either feel good or feel great or eat bacon. It was like, well, bacon tastes good, but I feel a lot better. And so I'm gonna keep down this journey. And so that's how I started venturing into the plant-based life.
And so this isn't on the list of questions at all. But you talked about 70% of your immune system of all your bacteria is in your gut. And I feel like I've heard a stat like that before, but I don't necessarily heard that from you.
Yes,
all right. My bad, Queen.
He's the health nerd. Come on.
My bad. I've heard it before. It's like,
somebody told me.
Right.
Sinclair's like that.
Can you break down like what does that mean functionally? Like when I think about I'm eating chicken, I'm eating pork, I'm eating these different things and it's going into my gut. Like what is that doing for me? I'm sure it makes sense to y'all. It doesn't make sense to me.
No, I totally understand what you're asking. And the thing is that you literally, that's why they say you are what you eat, right? So you're formulating your health based on whatever you're putting in your body. So if you're putting in things to your system that are not nutritious or that your body doesn't really recognize as actual food, right? You're contributing to inflammation, you're contributing to building cells that are damaged, right? Like based on the food that you're consuming. But if you're eating a diet that's rich in fiber and in nutrients and vitamins, then you're building your health based on that. And so your immune system really is boosted by those things that are super healthy for you. Like your body is created to thrive off of the foods basically that are grown out of the earth, right? And so when you're putting that into your system, your immune system is functioning, your entire body is functioning the way that it's supposed to. But when we start putting foods in our system that are not healthy for us, it breaks down the body, it breaks down the immune system. And so that's why you start to tend to get sick. You notice, you got a lot of mucus, and that causes like sinus infections and those type of things. So hopefully that cleared it up a little bit.
It did. And I'm sure the queen's looking at me like, I explained that to you. It's probably that situation where, like as kids, your parents say something and it's like,
yeah,
whatever. And then you hear
it
from
again.
someone else like, oh, for sure. But go ahead, Queen.
No, I think yeah, spot on. Like everything she said is absolutely correct, right? You are what you eat, and food is medicine, right? So depending on what you're feeding your body, if you're feeding your body, lots of good fruits and vegetables or dark leafy greens, your body is going to take that. It absorbs, right, the high nutrient dense foods. It's going to take that. It's going to send all those nutrients to all your other organs so that they can do what they need to do. But the average American diet is more high calorie, low nutrients, right? So if you are consistently feeding yourself that, your body is malnourished. You never actually are getting the nutrients you need. So that after years of doing that is going to lead to other side effects. Things like she was saying, chronic migraines, it can lead to sinus infections, it can lead to literally all the chronic diseases that you see, are probably, effects of leading those types of lifestyles for decades.
All right.
So yeah.
Okay, I got one more question, then Queen, you can go ahead and fire them off. But I know for you, Whitney, and Eat Plants and Prosper, you're pushing folks to eat plants, obviously, but maybe before they were on that McDonald's diet or Pizza Hut diet or whatever it is. So what are maybe your steps to help transition them off of the meat? Like just some, I feel like that's kind of what we want to do as well, help more and more people eat less meat, less pork, and all that good stuff. So how can we, what tips do you have for us trying to coach folks through making that transition?
So that's a great question. One of the things that I love to do is have people detox, because when you do a detox, although it's rough in the beginning, you start to get the taste out of your mouth for those. Exactly. That is it. For the first couple of days, that's exactly what it is, right? Like but you get the taste out of your mouth for like the sugary foods, the sugary drinks and everything, like the junk food. You kind of remove that from your system. You release the toxins, and it's a lot easier then for you to move forward and start eating healthier food. But a lot of people can't make it through those first few days because it can be really rough. Like if you're a coffee junkie and all that type of stuff, it's hard. So I just say, just start somewhere. And so wherever you are, like if you want to eat less meat, then try Meatless Monday. And do that every week. And then once you get into Meatless Monday, then, try to have one meatless meal a day. And so breakfast is easy to, go without any type of meat or animal products. So, maybe have a breakfast that is plant-based. Then once you get there, maybe it's Monday through Friday, it's no meat, right? I just heard your last episode and the guy was on there saying that he's doing that. Like during the week, he doesn't eat meat and then eat it on the weekends, right? Shout out to Shia. So, I think just taking those proactive steps, one of the things I love to tell my health coaching clients is to make half of your plate vegetables. And so that's another easy way. So we can start eating more plants. And I call that crowding out your plate, right? You're crowding out the junk by adding more vegetables to the plate. So those are some just easy, like first steps that people can take to kind of get into eating less animal products and more plants.
We are on the same page. I literally, everything you just said, I actually gave that advice to my best friend, like maybe a month ago. Because she was like, oh, so and so went vegan. I'm gonna go vegan, and I was like,
Joy's going vegan.
She did say that. She was like, I want to go vegan, and I was like, oh, Joy.
Okay.
I said, I love you, but just obviously because I know her and I know her habits, I was like, I think that's not necessarily the best approach to just jump straight to vegan. I was like, as a pescatarian, I'm telling you, like, there are levels to this. You gotta go step by step. So I basically said the exact same thing. I said, start off with, one meal a week, and then go to one day a week, and then go to, Monday through Friday, and then work very gradually, because it can be, it's a mind game as well, right? There are things going through different things that are going to happen to your body. But like you said, like you're gonna feel a little bit like with those withdrawals a little bit for those first couple of days. So you got to be in the right mindset. And I think that when you're trying to improve something, especially your diet, it is better, exactly like you said, to think of having more of the good things than to say, I have to cut out, this or that. I think especially when you're starting out, it's better to just say, I'm going to try to eat, half of my plate of vegetables, and then go to 3/4. And then before you know it, most of your plate or all of your plate is plant-based, and you've made the switch, and you don't have to think about it as much. And you're not feeling like, man, I can never have a French fry again. When in actuality, you probably don't even want a French fry at that point after doing it for so long. You're like, never.
I haven't reached that point. I haven't reached that point. So, but you're absolutely right. It took me 15 months to go vegan. Like I was baby steps. It was baby steps. So I love that advice that you gave. It was perfect.
Awesome. You mentioned the Daniel plan, and I was curious about that. When did you first do it? And then also, can we expect one in 2021?
Yes. So thank you for asking. I love talking about Daniel fast, because if it wasn't for that, I really don't think that I could have gone on this whole plant-based journey. It was because of that I knew, okay, I do feel better when I eat this way. And so the Daniel fast is just based off of the book of Daniel in the Bible, chapter 10. And basically, Daniel used prayer and fasting as a tool of spiritual warfare. He was under a lot of pressure, and it's like one of the king's highest, highly regarded men. The king relied on him. The king was ruthless. Like, it's like Game of Thrones. I don't know if y'all watch Game of Thrones, but that Daniel, I'm like, man, they really they hit the nail on the head. That really based. I feel like it's based on that. But anyway, he used prayer and fasting to help him become sharpened. And basically, he ate a plant-based diet. And so you do it for 21 days. I did it. The first time I did it was back in 2006. And so I had done it for years. And then when I launched Eat Plants and Prosper, I wanted to be able to share that with, everyone. And so I started leading a Daniel fast in 2019. Yeah, that was the first year I did it. And so we're doing one in 2021. The dates are January 3rd through the 23rd. I haven't told anyone that. Y'all are the first people to know that.
You heard it here first.
Those are the dates. So we had about 800 people join last year, which was just insane. I could not believe it. Super excited. So we have big plans this year. Y'all, come on, y'all. Come on, y'all got it.
I've already been thinking, like, I want to do some type of detox in the new year. I've been just trying to decide what it's gonna be. I contemplated a juice fast, but honestly, when I looked at the Daniel fast, I was like, you know what? This sounds a little bit better.
Okay, so maybe I gotta do more research. But it's just eating plants for that 21 days?
It's basically like the diet that she explained earlier, like fruits, vegetables, nuts, grains, like that stuff. But we'd have like no seafood or dairy.
No processed food, no caffeine, no alcohol.
No
Listen,
alcohol, not even wine.
And not even wine. That's the biggest gripe. The biggest gripe people have is the wine and the coffee. Like, they don't even, the food, they're like, okay, I think I can manage that. But the wine and the coffee, people are like, oh my goodness. But it's just a cleanse to really get yourself in a good place spiritually, mentally, and physically, for the rest of the year. So I know the wine, it's a tough one, but I have faith in you, Devon. You can do it. And you got Sinclair by your side. Doing it with somebody makes it a lot easier. Y'all,
I can throw that in the kitchen. It's not gonna be nasty.
You right.
Okay.
You right. Hey, just say the word. You the boss.
She got all these recipes. Like, come on.
Yes.
Well, apparently, people out there listening, I'm going to be doing a Daniel fast, eating plants for next month. Rock with me.
There we go.
You got it. All right.
Oh no, go ahead.
So really quick, and I'll get right back to you. But the concept of fasting as a kind of a weapon of social warfare, or warfare that was used in the book of Daniel, I find interesting because I'm flipping economics a little bit. But during our workshop, we always go over like who owns what industries, right? So obviously the hair care industry isn't owned by us, but over $80 million per year is being poured into that. The food and meat industry isn't owned by us, but over hundreds of millions of dollars was getting poured into that from our community. And someone asked, like, how can we own more of the meat market? And I think the rebuttal that I gave was, we don't necessarily need to own more of the meat market. We need to eat less meat. All right. So, and then we even brought up like meatless Mondays and doing that stuff, because if you are vegan or vegetarian, you're no longer consuming meat, which we don't own. So that's kind of a way of, you know, social and economic empowerment. So just a very, very random, as we do on this podcast, but interesting connection on how you can eat certain foods and how it obviously makes you feel better, but it also can be used as an economic tool.
Ooh, I literally love that, because I'm really passionate about the disparity in our community in terms of access to fresh fruits and vegetables and quality healthcare. And you know, health and wellness is not owned by white people. It's not owned by any, you know what I mean? And so I'm very passionate about that, and being able to, you know, talk to the community about ways that we can take our power back in those areas. And so I love to hear you talking about that.
That's all day. That's all day. Go ahead, please.
So I had a question about the fact that, you know, you do practice and kind of promote the Daniel fast. And my question is, when did you start? How did you learn how to kind of intersect your passion for health and wellness and your physical health with your passion for your faith and your spiritual health as well? And how did you kind of, I feel like, you know, obviously, checked out your website, and there's a beautiful intersection of them both. So kind of curious of how that came about.
Good question.
Thank you so much for, you know, saying that, Sinclair. Like that's one of the things that happened when I started making the physical transformation, was that once my body got kind of cleaned of all of the toxins, I started to feel better mentally and spiritually as well, right? Because we are one body. We are not disconnected parts, right? So we start feeling better in one area, it really can translate into the others. And so that is really where the holistic approach came from, that, you know, you want to be well physically, but also mentally, like emotionally and socially, right, as well, spiritually. And so when I started going down that path of moving into veganism, I started becoming more of a compassionate person. Like, I like animals, they're cool, right? I've always been like that, right? They're cool, but I wasn't the person that went vegan for the animals, you know?
Right.
But then once I started down this path, it's like you started to be like, yeah, you really don't need to slaughter animals, like to, you know, to be like, we really don't need to do that. And so it just started, I started becoming more compassionate. And then at the same time, I started picking up yoga. And so once I started with that yoga and meditation, it was like, it became a spiritual journey. And I realized too, you know, God made it very clear, like, I healed you with food so that you could help others like walk their purpose out. They have to be healthy in order to do that. And so that became the you know, the mantra behind Eat, Plant, and Prosper. And just was so clear to me that you know, nutrition was healing me in all areas, in all facets, and allowing me to become a better person, become more in tune and more spiritual. And so I'm like, I gotta share this. Like, I want to, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, it's like the most beautiful gift, and it's like, it's really just about what you have on the end of your fork. And so we have the power to change and impact that. And so I just became super passionate about it, and it was just, I don't know, it just made sense. Like, you want all of you to be healthy, not just one part.
Right. Absolutely.
If you're just joining us, we are here with Whitney from Eat, Plant, and Prosper, trying to get you to live your best life through eating vegetables, fruits, and plants. A question that I have riffing off of this, and then we can go back to the Queen's questions. Trying to get more people to eat plants. And for us, and I'm sure you, it starts with how can I get my family to kind of make this transition? So can you talk about your experience and how you've either successfully or not successfully, because we know it's been, listen, it's been a struggle, but talking about, you know, your family's kind of just reaction to your own personal journey, but also to you maybe trying to get them to live a healthier, maybe cleaner lifestyle.
Yes, love this question. I get this question a lot. So one thing I knew was that, you know, okay, yes, these plants are making me healthy, but like I'm not gonna eat boiled broccoli my whole entire life, right? Like, I mean, we got to have these recipes. I got to make sure that this food is tasting good because I also knew I have 2 kids and I was not about to be a short order cook. I am not cooking a meal for me and then cooking something for you, right? So these recipes have to taste good, and so much so that they're not like, I wish I had, you know, I wish I had some chicken with this, right? So I started getting in the lab. I was in the kitchen, like making these recipes. And I'm starting to you're right. And so once they tasted the food, it was like, well, if it tastes good, you know, there's no beef. Right. Literally, there's no beef.
That was a good one.
Unintentional. So, you know, it was like that. Then, you know, they became more open to it once they was like, oh, well, this tastes good, right? Because when you just talking to people about it, they're like, I'm not feeling that. But when you start like introducing some foods and the food tastes great, they're like, there's no problem there. And so they just became open to, my kids just became open to like trying so many new things. My oldest daughter decided to just be pescatarian. So she only eats fish now. And so once you start introducing foods that taste good. And the other thing that I learned the hard way was that you can't badger people, right? Like I wanted to be like, and here's another reason why you shouldn't be eating that, you know? And it's like that's people get defensive when you come to that approach. And so if you just tell them how great you feel and then introduce them to some great food, there's no problem. So like, for instance, my family, like we just were at my mom and dad's house, for Thanksgiving. And when I tell you, I mean, we're meat eaters, like grew up eating meat. And my mom was like, she made this hash with like plant-based meat and like potatoes for breakfast and stuff. And like, just really open to like trying stuff. My parents would, at the beginning, they were like, girl,
facts.
I'm not. Like, you know, and so now it's like 2 years later, they're just like trying new things. And my mom was asking me to make all these things for them that I was making vegan pumpkin bread and all these things. And so, you know, I bring my greens to the holiday functions. They asked me to bring my greens with no meat, right? You know what I'm saying? And so when you make recipes that are great and taste good, people will be open to it, and then just chill, relax. You ain't got to badger people to death about why they shouldn't be eating that pork chop. People will see the glow and say, hey, what are you doing? And then you'll have your opportunity to say, well, actually, I've been eating a lot more plants lately, and then you got your in.
Gotcha. Show them the results, the receipts.
Yep. Right.
So you mentioned, you know, you gotta have the food taste good. And I think that's spot on. Cause I feel like when people think of eating healthy, when people think of a plant-based diet, I feel like people think of like rabbit food, of like some raw carrots and celery and broccoli. And it's like, that's not it. I'm with you. Like I wouldn't do it. I just couldn't do it.
Right.
But you got to make it taste good. So I'm curious on like, what are some of your, you mentioned greens, but what are some of your maybe your top 1, top 2, top 3 recipes, your go-to, if you had to show someone like, no, eating healthy is delicious as well, what would you make?
I make this like red beans and rice. And I know it's just like a humble dish, but it just tastes so good and you don't miss the meat at all. And so I usually serve that with my collard greens, and then people are just like, they don't even realize that there's no meat in it, right? It tastes so good. So that's one. I make this coconut curry veggie. Coconut curry veggies is so good. It's so good.
His favorites.
Yeah. So that's I get a lot of like, yo, that was good. Like when I made that was really good. For that. And then I have a pasta dish that's like creamy tomato pasta that is really tasty and so easy and cheap. And people seem to like that as well. So I would say maybe those are my 3 go-to, I think.
I am absolutely going to try your cauliflower Alfredo recipe.
Oh,
I saw the picture and I had to go back like, wait a minute, there's no dairy in this. Wait a minute.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
You gotta try it.
Yeah. Come on now. Try some food. That ain't nothing to me. Come on now.
We've been definitely getting into the cauliflower lately, to try to replace like rice. We've been trying to go like, cognizant of the carbs and the processed carbs, especially. So we've been replacing like the pastas and the potatoes and rice with cauliflower. But I have not yet gotten to the using it as a replacement for, dairy products. But I definitely want to, because every time it's a very cognizant decision that I have to make when I eat dairy. Like knowing, like, okay, I know that I'm not going to feel 100% after this. So know that you're going to know that that's going to happen when you eat this, right? You're making that decision. But I feel like each time you do it, it gets a little bit harder to make that decision, which is, that's the journey. Like that is literally how it happens. But yeah, I'm definitely interested in trying some.
Yeah. She look like she about to cook up something real good. She do her hands like that.
So during the Daniel fast, is the Alfredo allowed?
Yes, Alfredo is allowed. Yep.
Oh, it's good. Okay.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like it doesn't have to be rabbit food.
No, it got to just be carrot sticks and celery, like Sinclair said. You can, some real good food.
Yeah, official approved then.
Okay.
Official approved. Great. All right. It's time to play a game.
Here we go.
Yeah. All right. Her face.
Every time.
So if you haven't, watched or listened to an episode before, we usually like to have some type of fun, some type of gamified interview in here. So it's going to be around meal plans though.
Okay.
So it could transition to some more questions, but this game is called Plants Plan. So I'm going to Plants Plan. All right. Not Drake's plan, not God's plan, but Plants Plan. And I'm going to give you scenarios like I'm trying to do this, and maybe you give the meal plan or a few recipes or a few things that you would recommend for that type of person. Does that sound okay, contestant Whitney?
It sounds amazing. Let's do it.
All right. So, and we're also going to kind of, maybe bust some myths in here as well. So I know there's a lot of people, including myself, who are trying to, maybe put on a little bit of muscle during this quarantine. I don't know about the whole woof, but just like little right, left, right situation. So for folks that are out here trying to, get some more muscle, what is the plant plan that you would give them?
Definitely go for some lean protein, right? And so my favorite is beans. I love beans. They're so good for you. Tofu, tempeh, also very good options. I also would go heavy on the healthy fats. So, your salad that you're going to have for lunch is going to have a lot of beans on it, maybe a couple different types of beans. And then an avocado, like a whole avocado, to boost up those healthy fats.
His favorite.
You love avocado? Awesome. No, I know you don't like it.
I could eat an avocado with a spoon.
Yes, me too. He's like, no. But if you don't like that, you can use avocado oil in your salad dressing or olive oil in your salad dressing. And then also some whole grains. So, try to have you put some maybe wild rice in whatever you're eating. And, get you some of the starchy vegetables as well to help you get some calories on to, get that muscly situation.
Got you. All right, one for one. Let's get it. All right, we got two more. So on the flip side of that coin, some people during quarantine, may have packed on a few COVID pounds. It happens. So 2021 hits. What is your plans plan for someone who's trying to lose 10 to 20 to 30 pounds of some excess weight that they have?
Definitely the plant plan for that is to have fruit for breakfast automatically off the rip. So it could be fruit or it could be a smoothie. And then kind of make sure that lunch is your heaviest meal of the day. So you're gonna have, that's when you would have your coconut veggie curry with your brown rice, and then keep it light for dinner, just like a super salad. And just make sure you're going heavy up on the vegetables. So with your coconut veggie curry, you also want to have like a big salad or have some collard greens or cabbage or whatever you're going to have. And that's a quick way to shed some pounds. Stop eating at around 8:30, and those you'll start to lean out.
Nice. 2 for 2. We getting it. Okay. Last one, and for this one, I'll give you an option because it's going to be based on a health disparity. All right.
Okay.
So let's say we have someone who either has high blood pressure or someone who has diabetes. What is the plant's plan for that? Either one individual, whichever one you want to cover.
I cover both of them in one because you're gonna need to eat more plants.
Oh, all right. Go ahead.
Period. Get rid of the processed food. We're gonna eliminate all the processed refined carbs, and we're gonna go really clean eating, and I'm just gonna eat a lot of plants, fruits and vegetables, and whole grains, beans, and you give that a couple of weeks and that blood pressure will drop down, and you can in about 90 days for sure, reverse your type 2 diabetes and get rid of whatever medication you're on, which is one of my favorite things to see my clients do. So yeah.
Love that. 4 for 4, or actually 4 out of 3, because she did a 2-on-1 extra credit. I see. I see. Oh, well done. So yeah, I'll pass it back to the queen. But that's something that I know she's definitely passionate in, and me myself as well, is trying to replace literally pharmaceuticals and pills with just good, clean eating. So yeah. I'll segue it over.
Yeah. One, I wanted to touch on the high blood pressure plan you just said. And that's 90 days to reverse diabetes is crazy and amazing. But 2, for high blood pressure, because that's something that I dealt with for years. It never made sense to me because I was so young and I considered myself to be a relatively healthy person. But every time I went to the doctor, they would always say, your blood pressure is a little high, try to lose some weight or whatever. And, the next time I'm going to have to put you on medication. And every time they kept saying the same thing. And it wasn't until I actually took a look at what I'm eating and my habits and changed it that it actually went down. I tried losing the weight. Losing the weight only goes so far if you're still eating the same processed food. So I was heavy into, thought strictly about calories. So I was heavy into then this is like college days before I kind of got into the health world and started researching, kind of got into my journey. But I was heavy in the lean pockets and the lean cuisines and all those things because they're like 260 calories for a little meal. And it's like, I thought that was healthy. But then, once I started being cognizant of the amount of sodium and the amount of preservatives and things like that, that are, just how processed the food is, that is when I started to see the change. And stopped eating I swear we used to have our freezer packed full of lean cuisine that we both used to eat. But yeah, stopped doing that and focusing on more of the whole fresh foods and vegetables. But the other thing that helped me was, you mentioned meditation. Meditation, I think helped tremendously to and still helps me maintain my blood pressure. And so I think that's, we don't always make that connection of doing something to calm your mind can help your blood pressure. But like you mentioned earlier, we are one person, everything is connected. And we don't always understand how one thing connects to the other. But at the end of the day, if you feed yourself good food, good nourishment, and allow, give yourself that time to kind of detox your mind, using meditation, you're going to have several positive things that come out of that. You're going to lower your blood pressure. You're also going to feel better. You're also going to, probably find things that you're more passionate about. You're also probably going to be in a better mood. You're also going to probably be a little bit of a kinder person, all of these things that start to happen. Those are really long tangent. I actually wanted to, the question I actually wanted to ask was not about that. It was about what you mentioned about making lunch your heaviest meal. So I kind of know probably what you're going to say, but I'm curious and I want the audience to know why lunch should be your heaviest meal and not dinner, which is probably what most people think should be your heaviest meal or is the heaviest meal for most people.
Right. So first of all, that was a beautiful tangent. I just want to record that and just play it for my clients. I would have to talk a lot less. I'm just listen to this. No, lunch, it gives your body a chance to metabolize your food. You're still kind of up and running, all right, during the day and moving around. And so you're just working off some of the calories that you consumed. Eating heavy late at night, you just don't have that same option. A lot of times when we're having dinner, and I eat so much later, like I just growing up, we ate a lot earlier. I don't know what the deal is with that, but I have to ponder my life now that I just said that. But like, when you're eating late, like, and then you lay down, right? It's like your body is just still working. Your digestive system is really still pumping and working. And your body is not in a complete relaxed state. So it's just best to eat that heavier meal earlier in the day, get it fully digested, have something light for dinner. You'll sleep better at night, and your digestive system will thank you because it'll be able to actually rest. So that's a good question, Sinclair.
Nice. I see you doing your thing.
Thanks.
All right. So again, y'all, to remind you, we are here with Whitney from Eat Plant and Prosper. You can head to eatplantandprosper.com to get your home workout virtual kit. They got meal plans over there. I don't know if that sweatshirt is on sale.
Yes, it's on there. Yeah, it's on there.
That Prosper swag.
There you go.
Come on, go ahead and support. So I know we're kind of towards the end here. Let me know if you have like a really good question that you want. But one more that I definitely want to ask, and hopefully we can get you on again. But one that I want to ask is, got the cosign. People trying to get into the professional nutrition space, health coach space, meal planning space, just kind of your best advice for first steps for people to get into that space that you are successful in.
I think the first thing is kind of like find your lane. So, whatever you want to focus on, because there's so much that you could focus on in terms of, health and nutrition. And so what's your lane? And mine is holistic nutrition, right? So someone else might specialize in something different, but find what you're passionate about and focus on that. And that's your niche. That's what makes you unique. That's your selling point. And so I would definitely say to do that, and then be willing to ride this wave, because it sounds so beautiful, right? Entrepreneurship, great. But I mean, it's a lot of long hours and late nights, right? Exactly. The highs and lows, like you just, so just be willing to ride the wave, knowing that, you're going to be serving your highest purpose and therefore helping others as you're doing it. So I think that's the advice I would give.
I love it. Pick your lane and ride the wave. There you go. Step one, step two.
I have a good last question that is, we were on the same wavelength. So as you did mention, you have health coaching clients. What can someone expect when they first start out as a client of yours? If they seek you out as a health coach.
So one of the first things is we're going to be talking about and working on the whole self. So a lot of clients approach me, they just want to get healthy physically. And I'm like, yes, we are going to do that. But also, you're also, right, we're gonna learn to meditate. Like you're gonna be doing that, right? You're gonna be also getting a fitness plan, and we're gonna sit down and talk about your health goals and figure out easy way to approach them. I shouldn't say easy, but a good path to approach them. And so you can expect a lot of support and care, because I do care about every single one of my clients. And so that's what I'm here for, to try to make sure that they are successful on their journey, and can, really ride their path, without me eventually. And so I'm going to give you all the tools that you need to be able to do that. And so that's what they can expect. They're going to get tough love, and they're gonna learn to meditate and eat a lot of plants.
Love it.
Oh yeah. So we've already, I guess, softly committed to this whole Daniel plan thing. But any other just plans or things that you want to share with the amazing folks before you leave here?
So Sinclair actually mentioned a juice fast. And so I'm a huge advocate of juicing. It's a great way to get a shot of nutrition, vitamins, minerals straight to your gut. And so, I do have a ton of juice recipes on my website. A lot of people I know have been interested in it. It's actually was something that, and you guys probably have experienced this, where I was like, I'm just going to throw my juicing experience up here, and, we'll see how that, like no big deal. And then all of a sudden it's like 1,000, hits on my page. And I'm like, over this juice post? Like, so like, right?
Like those random things.
Yeah, like totally random, you know? So it's like, okay, I started to put more information out there about it. And so, you know, people are interested in juicing. I recommended Sinclair. Sounds like you ready for it. So, you know, we should, you know.
I've done it for a day. I haven't gone past that.
Listen, a day is tough enough. Like when you got to around about 3 o'clock, you was probably like,
And let me be real. A straight fast is easier than a juice fast for me. And I don't know if that's normal, if you have any experience, but when I've done 24-hour fasts too. To me, that is much easier than doing the juice fast, because I feel like for me, once I start drinking the juice, like it's almost like my body is expecting the food. So it acts like there's food coming. And that's when it's harder of like, oh man, I know, but not right now. I'm sorry, just more juice. Whereas I feel like fasting, once your body kind of gets into a groove where it's like, all right, we're not eating.
Nothing's coming.
right, we're not eating.
Right, we're not eating. That's cool. We're fine with that.
So funny.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you have more though. There was a lot of stuff on your site, but
juice fast, holiday recipes. So let's talk a little bit about that, okay? Because my first plant-based holiday season, I was like, you know, I don't want to just eat off the veggie tray, right? At the I want to have some food too, and so I got a holiday bundle recipes that are tried and true. That is amazing, and grab it for Christmas because it's coming up. You know, just meal plans as well, available. And then if you need health coaching services, I also am a certified yoga teacher. I forget to mention that. And so teaching yoga classes. Come on now. Black Wall Street. Yeah. Yeah, go to the website, a bunch of recipes, meal plans, health coaching, yoga classes, and merch.
Swag it out. Holistic, right? Yes. Food and swag. They got you. So y'all go ahead and support Whitney and the team. Eat, plant, and prosper.com for your holistic and eating plants needs. All that good stuff. Queen, you got anything else you want to share with folks as well?
No, this has been a wonderful conversation.
I bet.
Because I'm, you know, as I'm sure you've seen some of the podcast episodes, I'm more like the physical nutrition side. I love that stuff. He's always just like, yeah, once you get into your gut is 70% of your immune system. He's like, whatever. So this has been wonderful to have this conversation. So yeah, I'm very excited to you know, stay connected with you, swap recipes. I'm definitely going to be trying a lot of your recipes. But yeah, it's been a blessing to have you here today, and you know, hopefully we'll get you back multiple times, because they definitely love the vibes and love everything that you're doing. Thank you so much for joining us.
Can I just say, I literally love you guys, and I'm so happy to see like young Black people take into this lifestyle, and you guys are inspiration to me, and to see, you know, the support that you have for one another, but you know, also it's just important to see our Black men taking to this as well. So Devon, you being open to it, Sinclair is, you know, trying to integrate into the thing. It's just beautiful to see a family unit doing that, and I thank you guys for having me. You guys are such an inspiration. I appreciate it so much, and I will definitely be back if you'll have me for sure.
Thank you.
Love it. That was a great mic drop right there. So thank y'all for tuning in to the True Health Forever podcast, where we try to live our best life through the lens of holistic health. I'm your host, Devon Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game.
I'm Sinclair, aka the Health Nerd.
We hope y'all stay healthy. We hope y'all stay mentally wealthy. And of course, we hope y'all stay true.